Today, a court freezes $1 billion of assets tied to the founders of bankrupt crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital. Crypto wallet maker Ledger says it will reimburse hack victims, and Gemini's chief strategy officer discusses emerging trends in crypto going into 2024. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Major cryptocurrencies trading flat this morning. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin dipped slightly, but still traded above the $43,000 mark, and Ether rose by 0.5%, trading around $2,200. Solana, however, soared nearly 11%, trading around $89. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. More than $1 billion in assets belonging to the founders of Three Arrows Capital have been frozen by a British Virgin Islands court. The bankrupt crypto hedge fund's liquidators, Teneo, said the worldwide freezing order issued Monday applies to 3AC founders Su Zhu, Kyle Davies, and his wife, Kelly Chen. In a statement sent to us, Teneo said the inclusion of Davies' wife helps liquidators use all available avenues to maximize returns to creditors whose claims into 3AC liquidation remain over $3 billion. The statement went on to say that the order is specifically designed to prevent the founders and Kelly Chen from disposing of or otherwise dealing with assets in any way that might frustrate eventual enforcement by the liquidators. 3AC, a once $10 billion hedge fund based in Singapore, filed for bankruptcy in July 2022. The fund was ordered to liquidate by a British Virgin Islands court after a plunge in prices and risky trades left it unable to repay lenders. Next, Ledger says it will make sure victims affected by a hack targeting the crypto wallet maker are made whole by the end of February. In a post on X yesterday, Ledger said it was aware of about $600,000 in assets that were stolen. It also said it's focused on making sure similar incidents are prevented in the future. The Ledger Connect kit software was compromised last week following a phishing attack on a former employee. According to this letter from Ledger's chairman and CEO, the hacker published malicious code that rerouted customer funds to the hacker's wallet. Ledger said the malicious file was live for around 5 hours, but believes the window where funds were drained was limited to a period of less than 2 hours. Ledger said it coordinated with Wallet Connect to quickly disable the rogue project. All right, back to markets for our main story. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Marshall Beard, Gemini's chief strategy officer, about what catalysts can keep the positive momentum for crypto going in 2024. He also discusses what's next for the crypto platform amid its legal battle with crypto lender Genesis.
We're closing out 2023 with Bitcoin in the midst of a major rally. It's looking like it'll end the year up somewhere around 160%. So I want to start off by asking what you think is driving the Bitcoin rally, and how are you at Gemini thinking about the potential for more gains in 2024, especially with the expectation that we could potentially see a spot Bitcoin ETF in the US soon. According to a blog post, Gemini argued that the approval of these spot Bitcoin ETF applications could attract a massive inflow of capital to crypto, potentially driving price activity. Can you elaborate on that and explain what other factors you think are part of the equation?
Sure. As you've mentioned, Bitcoin and the crypto markets as a whole have done well this year. And so it's been great to see. I think there's a few factors for this. I think as of recently, interest rates have kind of started to go down. There's been some landing discussion on the global interest rates, and especially here in the US. On top of that, the spot ETF. So this is a big deal. There's trillions of assets in, investment managers, whether those are RIAs and 401ks, and within the US that don't have access to the underlying crypto itself. And so, an ETF gives access. It's more so distribution to a large pool of capital that doesn't access crypto today. So this is incredibly exciting. You see, premier fund issuers being involved in this race. I think there's something like 10 filings right now for spot ETFs here in the US. So super exciting. I think also you mix that with a natural crypto cycle. And so for those unfamiliar, Bitcoin every 4 years does a halvening, which means that the amount of Bitcoin that can be mined to the public gets cut in half. And that's scheduled to occur in April of 2024. And so usually around those times, there's, a decrease in supply plus an increase in demand with this ETF generation. And I think that's going to lead to more price increase.
Expanding on that, this month, Gemini released an industry report highlighting what it sees as emerging trends going into next year. Some of those emerging trends include those pending applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs, regulatory clarity, and that key technical event you just mentioned called the Bitcoin halving or halvening. I want to first focus on those ETFs because Gemini has been named as a custodian in some of the applications before the SEC. So, how important is an approval of a spot ETF for the crypto market, but also specifically Gemini's business?
Sure. The way that we look at the approval of these spot ETFs is it is good for the industry as a whole. It's good for consumers. It's good for the industry. It's good for businesses like Gemini. So today, currently, Gemini has about 9 billion of crypto assets under custody. A majority of that is actually for ETF issuers in Canada. So Canada actually has approved live spot ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we're a majority custodian to those issuers as well. So we've been doing this, working with fund issuers, working with ETFs for a few years now. So we're ready and we're prepared. We're named, as you say, and we're in discussions with lots of the US ETF issuers as well to be their custodian. So it's a good thing for everybody. It's access, it's distribution. It's good for Gemini as we act as the custodian. It also increases flow and volume, and it will have price impact as well.
Many industry experts believe we could see the US launch its first spot Bitcoin ETF early next year. Do you see that happening? Do you think that's a realistic timeline?
Yes, this feels imminent. We're seeing revisions and constructive conversations between issuers and the SEC. This all leads me to believe that these are imminent. It is a when, not an if scenario. And it's looking like early January approval. I think there's going to be a little bit of time between approval and actual launch. Could be anywhere from a week to a few weeks as people get settled and the operational flows get formulated. I think there's still discussion around this cash versus in-kind create and redeem process. It looks like everyone's going to the cash model, which is what they do in Canada today. So things are getting ironed out. It feels imminent.
Now, back to the halving event, that's expected to be a big catalyst for major Bitcoin miners. You discussed what it could mean for the price of the cryptocurrency, but what does it mean for businesses like yours in 2024?
The halving doesn't directly impact a business like Gemini as an exchange and custodian too much, other than increased market sentiment, increased volatility and volume, price appreciation or depreciation. All of those things factor into our exchange business. So generally, the halving doesn't directly impact us, but it impacts market sentiment, price, and demand. So generally, those are good things. I think historically, the halving has led to an increase in price, right? And so then you see more volatility, you see more volume, you see more accumulation during those periods.
I'm also interested in hearing about Gemini's overall crypto outlook in 2024. You're, of course, caught in the legal battle with Genesis. You're still dealing with some of the fallout from 2022. How much of that is a hindrance for Gemini in 2024? And do you expect those problems will be resolved soon? Where does everything stand right now? And what's next for the company if you do find a resolution to these court battles?
Sure. I can't speak to specifics with regards to ongoing disputes. What I can say is that Gemini has always operated under a regulatory first framework. We're regulated in the US and operational in all 50 states. We are globally regulated by multiple prominent, global regulators. And so, our ethos, and coming from our founders as well, has always been kind of ask for permission, not for forgiveness, and thoughtful regulation is how we approach things. So, hopefully the US does find clarity. Other, jurisdictions around the world are building crypto specific frameworks, which, we support and we, will, adhere to. And hopefully that does happen within the US. When that happens, it's a bit complex and a little convoluted, but hopefully soon. There's a lot of people, a lot of policy groups, a lot of industry folks and constituents working towards, getting the clarity that we need to operate.
Beard also discussed counterparty risk and its importance, especially following all the scandals and bankruptcies in the crypto space in 2022. You can catch the full interview over at cnbc.com/cryptoworld. That's all for today. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.